Hello, and welcome to the Sleepy Survival Stories channel. Maybe you've had a long day. Maybe your mind has been climbing its own invisible mountain, one thought after another, never quite reaching a place of rest. Perhaps you have carried conversations, worries, and unfinished tasks like a heavy pack on tired shoulders. You have been brave just to make it here, to this quiet moment at the edge of night. Right now, you do not have to carry anything. Imagine, if you wish, that the room around you is slowly dimming, like a camp at high altitude, where the lanterns are being turned down one by one. A soft, steady glow remains, like a single candle or a prayer lamp in a small mountain shrine. Its light is gentle, not demanding, not harsh. It simply exists, faithful and warm. Outside, the world grows still. The noise, the notifications, the endless climbing of the day begin to fall away, like loose snow shaken from a boot. The air of this night feels cool and pure, like a slow breeze, crossing a glacier and drifting past your face. You are not on the mountain, and yet, a part of you can feel the high silence, the great calm of distant peaks watching over you. Breathe in slowly, through your nose, as if you are drawing in that pure, thin air from the high Himalaya. Hold it softly, and then let it go, gently, through your mouth. With every exhale, imagine the weight of the day sliding off your shoulders, falling quietly into the valley below, where it can rest and dissolve. There is nothing you must prove now. No summit to conquer before sleep. No crowd to impress. No schedule to race. Only this moment, this breath, this gentle invitation to release. Tonight, we travel together in memory and imagination to a place where ice and sky meet, where human footsteps have traced fragile lines across the face of a giant. We return to Everest not in fear or in pride, but in reverence. We remember a year when a storm swept over the mountain and over many lives, and we listen, not for drama, but for the quiet, enduring light inside those who walked there. As we move through this story, we will walk softly. We will honor the climbers and the Sherpas, the guides and the dreamers, the ones who returned and the ones who did not. We will sit with their courage and their frailty, their hope and their hardship, like visitors sitting respectfully in a sacred hall of snow and stone. Let your breath find a slow, easy rhythm, like careful footsteps in deep, fresh snow. Let your body grow heavier against the bed, as if you are settling into a safe, warm tent after a long, cold day above the clouds. Tonight, we settle over the high world in spirit and allow its quiet to settle gently over us. You are here to rest, to breathe, and to be held for a while in a story larger than yourself. Chapter 1. Before the storm, before the headlines and retellings, there was simply a mountain and a dream. Everest rose like a frozen cathedral into the thin blue of the sky, its ridges like stone prayers, its summit like a small white flame against the heavens. From many corners of the world, men and women came, carrying hopes in their packs and quiet questions in their hearts. They thought they were only climbing a peak, but in truth, they were approaching a mirror, a place where the soul is gently uncovered. As you breathe in, feel that distant height. As you breathe out, allow your own hidden questions to soften and rest. Chapter 2. For one man, this mountain was not a stranger. He had walked its slopes for over 25 years, had stood on its summit 5 times, touching that far roof of the world. Everest had given him joy, deep friendships, and a sense of wonder that never grew old. It had also shown him hardship, loss, and the thin line between life and death in high, cold air. Now he returned alone to base camp, not to conquer but to remember, to sit quietly before the past like a pilgrim before an altar. As you listen, let your own memories settle, like snowflakes coming to rest on still ground. Chapter 3. In the spring of 1996, base camp was alive with color and intention. Tents bloomed across the glacier like bright flowers on ancient ice. Laughter, clinking cups, and the murmur of many languages rose into the clear air, then faded into the hush of surrounding peaks. Guides and clients, Sherpas and film crews had come with a common, shining goal: to stand, if only for moments, on the highest point on Earth. They shared an invisible thread of longing, each one hoping that this year, this climb, would be the one. Breathe gently now, as if you are walking among those tents, feeling the mixture of fear, hope, and quiet excitement. Chapter 4. Above base camp, the Khumbu Icefall waited a broken river of blue-white towers and creaking seracs, shifting slowly like a living thing. For some, it was their first real taste of Everest's wild heart. Ropes traced fragile paths between yawning crevasses, and ladders bridged depths that seemed to swallow sound. Those who climbed there often felt something unexpected, not only fear, but awe so strong it brought tears. The ice glittered in the sun, every crystal a tiny star underfoot. One climber reached a safe place, looked back down the maze, and began to cry not from terror, but from the sheer, aching beauty. As you exhale, let that same beauty quiet your mind, like starlight settling over snow. Chapter 5. Higher on the mountain, another team moved with a different purpose. They were there not only to climb, but to capture the vastness of Everest on film, to share its silent majesty with those who would never walk in crampons or touch an ice axe. Their leader, seasoned and watchful, had already gone ahead with his crew, climbing toward the summit. Yet the winds grew unruly, brushing the ridges with a restless hand, and clouds began to whisper of uncertainty. He felt the subtle shift, the mountain's quiet warning, and chose to turn back. As you breathe in, feel that wisdom, the courage not only to go up, but also to gently return. Chapter 6. From the high camp, he looked down and saw them, the other teams making their way upward through the western sim, small figures threading their line across the vast white floor. It was May 8th, a date that would later be spoken with sorrow and reverence. For now, it was simply another day on the mountain. He watched bright dots of color move steadily, like beads on a string of prayer, toward the steep Lhotse face. The mountain suddenly felt crowded, alive with many dreams converging at once. He and his team decided to descend and wait for better light, clearer air. As you exhale, imagine yourself choosing patience, letting haste melt away like snow in morning sun. Chapter 7. On the descent, he met a familiar face. Rob Hall, the New Zealander guide who had built his life around bringing ordinary people to extraordinary heights. They paused in the cold air, sharing a few simple words about the weather, about timing, about the dance between risk and reward that every climb requires. He lifted his camera and captured a moment Rob standing against the ice and sky, a friend framed by the great white wall of the Lhotse face. Neither of them knew it might be one of the last images. Sometimes the sacred arrives quietly, in ordinary conversations. Let your breath flow gently now, honoring the fragile holiness of brief meetings on life's steep slopes. Chapter 8. Further down, he encountered another old friend, Scott Fischer, a climber from Colorado whose life had been braided with mountains and big open skies. Scott had already descended once with a sick client, guiding them safely back to base camp, and now he was returning upward with his team, looking a little worn but still moving. The air was thin, and the season was advanced, yet his heart still leaned toward the summit. That is something the mountains often reveal: how far a person will walk for a dream, even when tired. As you inhale, acknowledge your own quiet perseverance. As you exhale, allow any harsh self-judgment to loosen and drift away, like mist from a ridge. Chapter 9. For the clients, leaving Camp 3 and stepping onto the Lhotse face in down suits for the first time felt like entering another world. Above 24, then 25,000 feet, the air grew delicate, each breath a small treasure. For many, this was their first clear glimpse of the summit, a distant, gleaming point suddenly visible after weeks of climbing in faith. Some felt a thrill, some a deep swallow of doubt, some both at once. The horizon opened, revealing miles of Tibetan plateau and a sea of peaks now beneath them. Few on earth would ever stand here. As you rest where you are, feel that same still wonder, without needing to climb anywhere at all. Chapter 10. That same day, a quiet incident unfolded higher on the slope. A climber from the Taiwanese team slipped near Camp 3 and fell into a crevasse, swallowed for a moment by the blue darkness beneath the ice. With effort, he was brought back to the surface. Shaken but conscious, he told his teammate he would rest before going higher. On big mountains, people often say they are fine, even when their bodies whisper otherwise. The air was thin, the day moved on, and the great white walls stood silent. As you breathe in, feel compassion for that fragile human tendency to press on. As you breathe out, allow yourself the grace to admit when you are tired. Chapter 11. As the teams moved upward, they entered a different realm, a place some later described as desolate, like stepping into a cold Golgotha of snow and stone. It was not only the temperature that felt severe, but the weight of the emptiness itself. The sky seemed farther, the ground harsher, the wind more indifferent. Up there, everything extra falls away. Small talk, pretense, unnecessary words. What remains is breath, step, heartbeat, and the quiet awareness of how small and precious a human life truly is. Let your own worries thin out now, like air at altitude. Keep only what matters most close to your heart, and let the rest drift off into the darkness, gently and without regret. Chapter 12. By afternoon, a call came over the radios. The Taiwanese climber who had fallen earlier, Chen, had grown worse. Sherpas were bringing him down the steep face, moving as fast as the thin air allowed. The film team climbed up to help, lungs burning, hearts pounding with concern. When they reached him, they found that his journey on this mountain had ended. For the Sherpas, death high on the slopes stirred deep superstition and sorrow. They asked that his body be brought down, yet decisions and distances tangled in the thin air. As you breathe in, honor all those whose stories ended before they wished. As you breathe out, feel gratitude simply for the gift of this night, this breath. Chapter 13. Far above, Chen's team leader, Makalu Gao, pressed on toward Camp 4 on the South Col, more than 1,000 feet above. From the safety of lower ground years later, some would struggle to understand his choice. But high on Everest, thoughts move through clouds of exhaustion and altitude. The mind narrows, the world shrinks to rope, slope, and the simple command to keep going. Only with time and gentle listening did others begin to grasp how little they had known of his burden in that thin, lonely world. As you rest here, you do not need to judge any heart on any ridge. Let your own heart soften, like snow easing down a face, slow and silent. Chapter 14. At Camp 4 on the South Col, the wind tore at the tents like an angry choir, its voice rising and falling in waves. Inside the thin fabric walls, climbers lay in their bags, listening to the roar and wondering if the summit dream was slipping away. Some feared that after all the weeks of effort, the weather would slam the door shut in their faces. The place felt like a small, fragile outpost on the pat edge of the sky, trembling under invisible hands. As you breathe in, imagine that wild wind kept safely outside your own shelter. As you breathe out, feel your body sink deeper into calm, anchored and untouched. Chapter 15. Hours passed in that howling darkness. Then, around 8 in the evening, the wind eased, softening like a tired animal settling down. In the tents, people allowed themselves a little sleep, never deep, never fully surrendered, just drifting on the edge of rest, while hearts beat loudly in their ears. They knew that the night would soon ask more of them. 11 o'clock drew near, the hour to rise, to lace boots, to walk toward the sky. Some felt excitement, others quiet dread, and many felt both braided together. As you inhale, feel your chest rise gently. As you exhale, release any demand that you must be brave all at once. Chapter 16. When the call finally came, the camp stirred like a slow, groggy hive. In the cramped tents, people wrestled with down suits, oxygen masks, headlamps, and heavy boots. Goggles fogged, straps tangled. Crampons seemed to appear on the wrong feet. Fingers fumbled in thick mittens, clumsy yet determined. One climber looked into another's eyes and silently saw doubt there, an unspoken sense that perhaps this night was not meant for them. Yet the process went on. Buckle, zip, adjust, breathe. It was messy and human and tender in its own way. Let yourself be that human too. You do not need to be graceful to be worthy. Just breathe slowly and kindly with yourself. Chapter 17. Then they stepped outside, and the world changed. The roaring tent walls were replaced by a vast, crystalline silence. The night was clear, still, and impossibly full of stars more than most had ever seen, poured out across the sky like scattered diamonds. The black bulk of Everest rose in front of them, a great shadow shouldering into the Milky Way, which seemed to burn like a river of light above their heads. The air was sharp and cold, but the beauty was overwhelming. As you breathe in now, imagine that sky stretching above you. As you breathe out, feel the quiet of that high night seep into your thoughts, soothing every edge. Chapter 18. A line of headlamps began to move upward, small circles of light drifting along the slope like fireflies on a frozen sea. Climbing at night felt different, more intimate, more solitary. Beyond the reach of each lamp, the world vanished into darkness. Climbers could not see the wide valleys or the distant plains, only the faint glow of others above and below, each in their own small universe of snow and breath. Oxygen flowed in slow rhythms. Steps fell into a quiet pattern. The mountain became a place of inward prayer. Let your breathing find that same gentle cadence now, in and out, as if you too are walking peacefully through the stars. Chapter 19. As the line wound upward into the dark, each climber slowly found a rhythm. the hiss of oxygen in the mask, the soft crunch of crampons on snow, the faint swing of a headlamp beam across the slope. These became a kind of quiet music. Packs were adjusted, straps tightened, layers smoothed down against the cold. After a while, the body accepted the work, and the mind floated somewhere between effort and wonder. To think they were truly climbing Mount Everest, moving through the very air that touches the roof of the world. As you breathe in, feel your own body settling into its rhythm. As you breathe out, let stray thoughts fall away, step by gentle step. Chapter 20. Hours passed in the darkness, the ridge rising before them in a long, shadowed arc. Near a place the climbers called the balcony, a pale glow began to appear in the east. At first it was only a suggestion, a thinning of the stars, a faint silver line pressed against the edge of the world. Then, with a few more careful steps, they walked up into the first light. The sun lifted over distant plains, golden rays spilling across glaciers. Thousands of feet below, peaks that once towered above them now looked small, like waves on a frozen sea. In that moment, many felt their hearts widen. Breathe in that imagined sunrise. Breathe out, and let its warmth spread softly through you. As you listen now, let your own breathing slow, like a careful climber placing each foot with intention along a narrow ridge. Feel the soft weight of your blankets as a safe camp raised against the winds of the day. You do not need to see far ahead. It is enough that this moment is steady beneath you. Allow your jaw to relax, your shoulders to sink, your hands to rest. Whatever summit you are chasing in your thoughts can wait. You are not behind. You are not late. Tonight, you are simply here held in a story, sheltered in a quiet high camp of the heart, free to drift wherever peace wishes to carry you. Chapter 21. By dawn, the climbers were strung out along the upper mountain, scattered like beads across the white slope. It had been nearly 5 weeks since they had first stepped into base camp's rocky world of tents and prayer flags. Each team had become its own small universe. Guides, clients, Sherpas, cooks, all bound together by a shared goal. The clients had paid dearly in money and time, but also in hope. The guides, like Rob and Scott, carried a different weight, the responsibility of shepherding fragile dreams into thin, unforgiving air. To help another human touch, a long-held dream is a sacred trust. As you inhale, imagine being gently guided. As you exhale, offer quiet gratitude for those who have walked beside you on hard paths. Chapter 22. For many there, the mountain was more than a trip. It was a pilgrimage of the soul. Some had come to heal old wounds, to escape shadows of sadness that had followed them for years. One climber had lived much of his adult life under a heavy cloak of depression, hiding it behind jokes and busyness. He discovered that when he drove his body hard in the mountains, his mind went quiet for a while, relieved of its constant storms. Where others might turn to numbing escapes, he turned to ice and sky. As you breathe in, acknowledge the quiet struggles you carry. As you breathe out, let yourself feel tender toward your own hidden battles. Chapter 23. The higher they climbed, the more their reasons blended together. Adventure, healing, pride, curiosity, longing to change something deep within. Some hoped that by standing on the summit, they would finally feel enough worthy, successful, loved. Others simply wanted to know if they could do it. The mountain did not judge these reasons. It stood silent and steady, indifferent yet immense, like a great stone witness bearing patient testimony to human hearts. Everything it meant to them came from what they carried inside. Breathe in gently, sensing your own longings. Breathe out, and imagine laying them down for a moment, resting them at the foot of a vast, compassionate sky. Chapter 24. As the morning unfolded, some climbers began to sense that things were not aligning as planned. Delays had crept in, bottlenecks at steep sections, confusion about fixed ropes near the south summit. Time, that quiet ruler of all high places, was slipping away unnoticed with each halt and shuffle. The agreed turnaround hour, meant to guard life over ambition, drifted like a snowflake in the wind. Yet the summit was so near, just beyond a few more rises. So close is one of the most powerful whispers on any mountain. As you inhale, feel the pull of unfinished goals. As you exhale, remember that your worth is not measured in reached summits, but in the love and presence you carry. Chapter 25. Among those climbing that day was a man named Beck, who began to feel that something was wrong with his vision. One eye blurred, the other not yet strong enough to guide him safely in such unforgiving terrain. He had fought so hard to reach this height, yet now the simple act of seeing was slipping away. When he told Rob, his guide and friend, Rob gently insisted he wait where he was while others went on. Beck promised to stay, to be there when Rob returned. In that moment, trust was exchanged like a quiet blessing on a lonely ridge. As you breathe, think of the promises you hold in your heart and let the memory of them comfort you, not burden you. Chapter 26. As the hours slipped by, the climbers reached the south summit, a place where the true summit finally reveals itself. Still a little distant, like a promise just out of reach. There, confusion met them, like a small, cold wind. Old ropes and new ropes tangled in both reality and conversation. Who would go first? Which lines could be trusted? Time stretched and then leaked away while they sorted through decisions in thin, impatient air. Above them waited the narrow ridge to the Hillary step, delicate as a knife's edge between worlds. As you breathe in, feel that tension of not knowing. As you breathe out, imagine those knots gently loosening inside and out. Chapter 27. Two climbers, roped together, began the traverse toward the Hillary step. On either side, the slopes fell away into immense, unseen depths. Tibet to one side, Nepal to the other, nations divided by a line of snow beneath their boots. The wind would occasionally lift the rope between them, holding it in a graceful arc as if the mountain itself were playing with a strand of human intention. Every planted axe, every step demanded careful, mindful presence. Below, more climbers waited in line, stacked along the ridge, their progress slowed by the narrowness of the route. As you inhale, think of all the narrow crossings in your own life. As you exhale, feel yourself guided safely across. Chapter 28. At the Hillary step, the line of climbers backed up like beads on a single thread, each waiting for a turn to climb that short, awkward section of rock and ice. By earthly standards, it was not a difficult climb, but at nearly 29,000 feet, even, small movements became tests of will. Heavy boots searched for tiny holds, thick mittens grasped clumsily, oxygen bottles weighed on weary shoulders. An hour slipped away, then more, as people waited their turn in the cold. On any mountain, standing still for too long can be as dangerous as moving forward. As you breathe in, feel the stillness. As you breathe out, imagine warmth spreading through that waiting. turning it into quiet patience instead of fear. Chapter 29. One climber, watching the clock and listening to his own rising heartbeat, felt a deep unease. The agreed-upon turnaround time drifted past like a faint bell in a storm. He knew that if he continued, he might reach the summit, but he would pay for it in oxygen and strength on the way down, when the mountain is at its most unforgiving. His heart wrestled with the closeness of his dream and the call of wisdom. Finally, he turned to Rob and said he was going down. Rob's disappointment was gentle, not angry. "It's your call, pal," he said. "Sometimes, turning back is the bravest step. As you breathe, allow yourself permission to step away from anything that endangers your inner peace." Chapter 30. At last, one by one, climbers crested the final rise and stepped onto the summit of Everest, that narrow, wind-swept crown of snow and rock. For a few precious minutes, those who arrived early stood almost alone at the top of the world, looking out over every horizon at once. The earth curved gently away beneath them, and a vast ocean of peaks rolled into the distance like frozen waves. All the hardship, all the cold nights, all the doubt seemed to settle into a deep, quiet contentment. They were not conquering the mountain. They were simply allowed to visit its rooftop. As you breathe in, feel that sense of completion. As you breathe out, let your body soften into your own small summit of rest. As the hours of this story unfold, let your breathing stay slow and kind, like a careful climber choosing each step with reverence. You have also known delays and long ascents, moments when your dreams seemed close and yet just out of reach. You have stood at your own Hillary steps, choosing between pressing on and turning back. Whatever choices you made, you are here now, safe in this quiet night. Imagine a gentle light around you, like first dawn touching high snow, forgiving and warm. You do not need to prove your courage, your worth, or your strength. Simply let this story keep watch for you, like a faithful guide outside the tent, while you are free to drift deeper into stillness, deeper into peace. Chapter 31. As more climbers reached the summit, the small space became crowded. A cluster of bright suits perched along the narrow ridge. There was joy there, hugs, photographs, flags unfurled in the thin air. For some, a lifetime of effort had come to a single, shining moment. Yet, even as they celebrated, time kept quietly moving. They waited for Scott to arrive so they could descend. Together, watching the day remain calm and clear, the sky deceptively gentle. It was easy to linger when the world seemed so beautiful and still. As you inhale, think of times you have stayed a little too long in some place of achievement. As you exhale, feel the wisdom of knowing when to begin the journey back. Chapter 32. Down at base camp, a familiar voice crackled through the radio. Rob was calling from the summit, using the nickname Mrs. Everest for those listening below. He sounded cheerful, even strong, listing the names of those who had reached the top with him. Doug, the client who had turned back the year before, was now very close, just below. Rob promised they would make a quick turnaround once Doug arrived. When asked about the weather, he replied, "Cold and windy," but gave no hint of alarm. For those at base, there was relief in hearing his voice, yet a quiet concern about the hour. As you breathe in, feel the comfort of familiar voices. As you breathe out, entrust all that is beyond your control into gentler hands than your own. Chapter 33. On the narrow ridge above the south summit, the wind was beginning to speak more sharply. One climber who had turned around earlier now moved carefully downward, passing those still headed up. Looking back, he saw Rob standing with Doug, who leaned heavily on his ice axe, resting on the slope. From a distance, he lifted a gloved hand in a thumbs up, a simple sign that seemed to say, "We're all right. Keep going." It was a small moment, easily missed against the vastness of ice and sky, but later it would glow in memory like a candle in a darkened room. As you breathe in, remember such small signs of reassurance in your own life. As you breathe out, let gratitude settle gently in your chest. Chapter 34. Higher on the route, another drama unfolded. A climber named Sandy could go no farther. Exhausted beyond words, she collapsed into the snow, her body refusing to take another step downward. Her companions tried to lift her, but she sagged like a puppet whose strings had gone slack. In that thin air, even simple kindness cost dearly. Then someone remembered a small vial of medicine, dexamethasone, carried close to the body for just such an emergency. With trembling hands and shared courage, they gave the injection through layers of clothing. Slowly, like a dim lamp being turned up, Sandy began to revive. As you inhale, imagine strength returning where you feel worn. As you exhale, trust that even small helps can awaken new light in you. Chapter 35. Yet for all the help that was given, decisions remained heavy. Oxygen bottles ran low. Some had more, some had less. When asked to share precious gas from one working bottle to another climber who could not walk, hesitation rose, understandable and human. In such cold, thin places, the instinct to survive can grow loud, but so can compassion. On that ridge, both instincts lived side by side, wrestling quietly and shivering. Hearts, some gave from what they had, others could not bring themselves to surrender their last safety. There was no perfect heroism, only fragile people doing the best they knew. As you breathe in, release the burden of judging past choices, yours and others. As you breathe out, let mercy be the snow that covers rough footprints. Chapter 36. Farther down, near the balcony, Beck still waited where he had promised Rob he would stay. Other climbers, descending now in gathering wind, called for him to come with them. "Come down with us," they urged. But he remembered his word, the agreement he had made, and chose to remain, blind and alone, trusting that Rob would return. In clear weather, going with them would have been the safer choice. Yet in that moment, the weight of a promise felt heavier than the weight of fear. Sometimes our loyalty keeps us still when the wisest thing might be to move. As you breathe in, honor the promises that have shaped you. As you breathe out, gently forgive the parts of you that did not yet know another way. Chapter 37. Higher up, time and weather were turning. A wall of dark cloud rose from the lower valleys, not sliding in softly from above, but surging upward like a living thing. Climbers who had once seen gentle puffs of cloud now watched them grow dense and ominous, shading from white to steel, grey to nearly black. The storm was not merely drifting, it was climbing toward them, fast and relentless. One moment, Camp 4 could be seen below as a scattering of colored tents. Minutes later, it vanished behind a curtain of snow and wind. As you inhale, imagine that approaching storm far away from you now. As you exhale, feel the safety of your own shelter, solid and warm, between you and any gathering darkness. Chapter 38. Near Camp 4, as climbers tried to descend toward the safety of the South Col, trouble moved faster than their feet. A loose rock, hurled by the wind, knocked a climber's glove from beneath a rope. It spun away into the storm, carried like a fragile leaf into emptiness. A strong climber, Anatoly, came racing down, moving past others without words, intent on reaching the tents before the fury fully arrived. Above, the tents fluttered like small blue prayers in a rising gale. As you breathe in, feel the approach of chaos held at a distance. As you breathe out, rest in the knowledge that here, tonight, nothing is being torn from your hands. Chapter 39. Then the storm arrived in full. One moment, climbers could look down and see the faint shapes of tents on the South Col. The next, everything disappeared into white. Wind roared so fiercely that it felt like a living force, shoving bodies, snatching at hoods, filling ears with a constant, overwhelming howl. In minutes, a good day with a little wind turned into something desperate. Vision shrank to a few steps. The mountain's edges blurred, and with them, the line between safety and danger. As you inhale, imagine that blizzard far away in another world. As you exhale, let the quiet of your room feel even deeper by contrast, like a refuge built of calm. Chapter 40. In that blinding white, Mike, a guide, stumbled upon Beck, who had been waiting where he said he would. Snow had almost hidden him from sight, covering his suit until a movement sent it sliding away. Beck's voice was calm and strangely simple. He could not see. Mike put him on a short rope, knowing a misstep here could mean a fall into the unseen depths. Soon they found Yasuko, sitting in the snow, completely exhausted, unable to rise. Now there were two souls to shepherd in the storm, and one tired guide to help them. As you breathe in, think of those who have guided you in your weakest hours. As you breathe out, send them a silent blessing of thanks. As you listen, imagine the world outside your window fading into a soft, gentle blur, not a deadly storm, but a quiet veil that protects you from all demands. Picture yourself in a warm, sturdy tent of blankets, a small, safe circle in the midst of any weather. The winds of the day may have howled, decisions may have felt sharp and difficult, but here you do not need to push forward or choose a direction. Let your breath be your only path, in and out, slow and unhurried. You are allowed to pause on this high ledge of night, to rest, to feel, and to do nothing more than simply be. Chapter 41. In the chaos of the storm, the notion of separate teams dissolved. It no longer mattered who had paid which guide, who wore which logo, who belonged to which expedition. They were simply people in trouble on a high, cold plateau, trying to reach a small circle of safety they could no longer see. Those still able to walk tried to support those who could not, lifting, tugging, coaxing weary legs into motion. Yet the air was slicing cold, the wind deafening, the snow blinding. Distances stretched, directions twisted. On the South Col, a few wrong steps could mean walking off the edge of the tendon. As you breathe in, sense that confusion far, far away from you. As you breathe out, feel your own path this night as simple and clear, to rest. Chapter 42. They walked, believing they were heading toward camp, leaning into the storm, overcompensating against the wind that threatened to push them toward the Kangshung face. The noise rose to a constant roar, so loud they had to shout just to be heard a few feet apart. Snow stung their faces like ice needles, freezing eyelids together until they had to scrape them open with gloved hands. They saw fragments of human presence, discarded oxygen cylinders, torn pieces of tents, pans scoured by wind signs that camp had to be near. Yet the tents remained hidden. They could have been 40 meters away or half a world distant. It was impossible to know. As you inhale, imagine all that frantic searching easing. As you exhale, let the need to find anything tonight slip away. You have already arrived. Chapter 43. On both sides of the South Col, the plateau tipped into steep emptiness, one side dropping into Tibet, the other down toward Nepal. The group unknowingly began edging toward danger, down a subtle slope that led not to safety but to a cliff. It was Neil, one of the guides, who sensed it first, some quiet inner compass, warning that one more step in that direction could be their last. With exhausted clarity, he decided they had to stop, to sit down in the storm rather than walk off the edge. They formed a huddle, pressing close like a small island of human warmth in a sea of wind and snow. As you breathe in, feel the strength of stopping before the edge. As you breathe out, let yourself also step back from anything that feels like too much. Chapter 44. In that huddle, time changed its shape. Minutes stretched into long, trembling passages of survival. Some whispered that they no longer cared, that they just wanted it to be over, that lying down and letting the cold take them seemed easier than fighting its teeth. Others wept, not loudly, but in small, strained gasps, afraid of dying far from those they loved. Still, they pressed together against the storm, the shared contact, saying what words could not: "You are not alone." One by one, they wrestled with the urge to sleep, knowing that surrendering to that sweet drift could be the last choice they ever made. As you inhale, imagine someone gently touching your shoulder, reminding you that you are still needed in this world. As you exhale, release the idea that you must be strong without fear. Chapter 45. Far above the huddle, Makalu, Gao, and Scott lay separated from the group, caught alone in the storm. Exhaustion pinned their bodies to the mountain. Cold seeped in, slow and relentless. Between gusts of wind, the silence was immense, like a great blank page stretching in every direction. Their thoughts narrowed to simple truths. I am cold. I am tired. I am afraid. Yet even in that bleakness, there were flickers of memory, faces of loved ones, warm rooms far below, the sound of ordinary days. Those memories were like small lanterns, briefly bright in the blizzard. As you breathe in, call to mind someone or something that brings you quiet warmth. As you breathe out, let that warmth settle over you like a soft, heavy blanket. As you rest here, let the storm in this story stay on the mountain, distant and contained. Your room is not a South Col, but a sanctuary. The huddle you belong to is made of pillows and blankets, of walls that do not flap in the wind, of a roof that does not shake. Whatever gusts have been battering your spirit today, you do not need to stand against them right now. You are allowed to sit, to lie down, to breathe, and do nothing more. Feel your body growing heavier, muscles loosening, as if you too are settling down after a long climb. The only journey left tonight is inward, toward gentleness, toward rest, toward the quiet summit of sleep. Chapter 46. As the storm screamed around them, some climbers began to notice strange changes within. Shivering shifted from violent to absent, not because warmth had returned, but because the body was slipping past its own defenses. One man felt as if he were watching himself from a small distance, calmly observing his own decline, as though he were both the traveler and the witness to his journey. It was eerie, like standing outside your own house, watching the lights go out one by one. In that thin, freezing world, he monitored his fading strength, as if keeping vigil beside a bedside. As you breathe in, honor the times you have watched yourself struggle. As you breathe out, offer that struggling self a silent, gentle blessing. Chapter 47. Then, through a brief gap in the storm, Neil caught sight of the upper slopes of Everest, a dim outline against the roaring white. That single glimpse became a compass. From it, he pieced together where they were, where Camp 4 must be, and what direction offered the narrowest thread of hope. He urged the group to move, to rise from the huddle and stagger towards salvation, even though every step felt impossible. Some tried to stand and fell again. Each attempt was like lifting stone with weakened hands. Yet they rose anyway. As you inhale, imagine a small, unexpected sign appearing in your own confusion. As you exhale, feel a quiet courage stirring, enough for just one more gentle step. Chapter 48. They began to move, swaying like the very drunk, limbs uncoordinated, minds dulled by cold and lack of air. One guide tried to support two climbers at once, Beck, blind, and Yasuko, too weak to stand. For a few meters they lurched forward together, but the effort was unsustainable. Each time Yasuko fell, getting her up again cost strength they did not have to spare. At last, the hard truth settled over them. To save some, they might have to leave others. The group began to pull away, their shapes growing smaller in the swirling snow, while Beck and Yasuko remained behind. Two fragile flames flickering on the vast, indifferent plateau. As you breathe in, feel the ache of impossible choices. As you breathe out, let compassion cover every memory of "I should have," like fresh snow softening broken ground. Chapter 49. Farther up the mountain, on the exposed ridge near the south summit, Rob and Doug faced a different kind of night. We will never fully know what passed between them, the words spoken or left unsaid, the glances shared behind frost-covered masks. Did Doug whisper, "Don't leave me"? Did he ever tell Rob to go, to save himself? What we know is that Rob stayed as long as he could, tethered not only by rope but by loyalty and love for those he guided. Down below, those at camp listened in anguish to brief radio calls, aware that help could not reach that lonely perch. As you inhale, imagine a light surrounding every place in your memory where someone stayed beside you in your darkest hour. As you exhale, let that light soften the sharp edges of loss until they blur into peace. Chapter 50. At last, some of the storm-torn climbers staggered into Camp 4, more falling than walking toward the dim outlines of tents half buried in snow. Inside, it was not warm by earthly standards, but compared to the fury outside, it felt like sanctuary. One by one, they crawled in, collapsing into sleeping bags, hearts still pounding with the echo of the wind. Anatoly, who had descended earlier without bottled oxygen, moved among them with quiet urgency, pressing hot tea into shaking hands, checking faces for frostbite, listening for the thin thread of strength in each weary voice. Outside, the storm still raged, but inside those thin walls, there was at least a small island of light. As you breathe in, imagine arriving at such a refuge. As you breathe out, feel your own bed becoming that safe, merciful place. You have now walked halfway through this high, cold story, and perhaps your own heart feels a little tired from the climb. So, let us pause here together, on this quiet middle ledge of the night. You are not on Everest. You are not in a storm. You are in a room, or a bed, or a small corner of the world that holds you gently. Take a slow breath in through your nose and let it slip out softly through your mouth. Feel the way your body rests against what supports it. Notice the heaviness of your limbs, the way gravity cradles you like a steady hand. Whatever mountains you are facing in your life, the decisions, the griefs, the hopes that feel so far above you, you do not have to climb them right now. Not in this hour of darkness that is made for healing. Imagine that all your worries are like the packs and ropes and oxygen bottles scattered around Camp 4. Necessary for the journey, perhaps, but not needed while you sleep. You can set them down for a while. Lay them gently at the entrance of your tent heart, knowing they will be there tomorrow if they are truly needed. You don't have to conquer summits tonight. You don't have to prove your courage or solve old storms. You are here to rest, to breathe, to be quietly loved by the simple fact that you are still here, still breathing, still capable of gentleness toward yourself. Let your thoughts drift like slow-moving clouds around distant peaks. Let your breath be the only rhythm that matters, rising, falling, like the steady pulse of a calm and patient world. And if your mind tries to climb again, to race up ridges of what-ifs and why-nots, just smile inwardly and invite it back down. Back to this bed, back to this breath, back to this small, sacred moment where nothing is demanded of you except that you rest and allow yourself, at last, to be at peace. Chapter 51. Inside Camp 4, warmth was a relative word, but it was enough to begin coaxing life back into frozen faces and hands. Anatoly moved like a quiet guardian, checking on those who had returned, offering sips of hot tea to mouths that could barely hold the cups. He listened to their broken stories of wind and blindness, of voices lost in the storm. Yet his work was not finished. Knowing that others were still out there in the white darkness, he gathered what strength and supplies he could and stepped back into the night, a single headlamp moving away from the fragile safety of the tents. As you breathe in, imagine that small light. As you breathe out, feel its courage wrap around your own tired places. Chapter 52. Out in the storm, the huddle on the South Col clung to a thin line between life and surrender. The wind had carved them into shapes of snow and cloth, half-buried figures anchored by sheer will. Some no longer had the energy to speak, their thoughts blurred, drifting between memories and dreams. They waited for a help they could not quite believe would come. Then, faintly, a light appeared, bobbing through the blizzard. Anatoly's headlamp, moving not quickly but steadily, drawn by duty and something like love. To some, that distant glow was the first solid hope they had felt in hours. As you inhale, imagine a light approaching your own weariness. As you exhale, let yourself believe that help too has come for you in unseen ways. Chapter 53. Anatoly could not carry everyone, not in that thin air and screaming wind. He did what he could, again and again, bringing one climber at a time toward the tents, insisting that they keep moving when sleep tugged at them like a dark tide. He promised he would return for the others, and he did, as long as his body allowed. Yet even a strong rescuer must bow to the limits of flesh. By the time he stumbled back at last, one more trip would likely have cost his own life. On the Col, Beck and Yasuko remained in the storm, unmoving. As you breathe in, acknowledge that no human can save everyone. As you breathe out, let go of the harsh expectation that you should have done more than you could. Chapter 54. Morning came, not with golden peace, but with pale, hard light and brutal clarity. The storm eased just enough for those in camp to look outward. A doctor among them weighed what he knew: the temperatures, the hours without shelter, the violence of the wind. To go back out for those who had not returned would almost certainly mean adding more names to the list of the lost. He judged that Beck and Yasuko were beyond saving, their bodies likely frozen beyond pain. With a heart heavy but resolute, he advised that they be left where they lay. In that moment, mercy and sorrow mingled in ways that would trouble hearts for years. As you inhale, feel compassion for those forced to choose. As you exhale, offer them the forgiveness they may never give themselves. Chapter 55. But high on the South Col, something unexpected was unfolding. Beck, left for dead beneath a crust of ice and snow, began to drift not into nothingness, but into a vision. In his mind, he was no longer on the mountain. He was at home, surrounded by his wife and children, by warmth and ordinary life. That tender image stirred something deep within him, like a coal glowing under ash. He realized, with sudden clarity, that if he did nothing, those faces would become only memory. With hands already frozen into claws and skin gone numb beyond pain, he began to move. As you breathe in, feel the power of love that calls us back from dark edges. As you breathe out, let that same love whisper to your own tired spirit. Keep going, gently. Chapter 56. Beck began to crawl through the snow, not with strength, but with a kind of stubborn grace born from love. He could not feel his hands. His face was a mask of ice. His vision was more shadow than sight. Yet he shuffled forward, falling, rising, falling again. The sun hung in the sky like a silent clock, reminding him that warmth would soon fade into another killing night. He aimed his body toward where he thought camp might be, following a faint sense more than clear direction. Each movement was a simple prayer in motion. One more push, one more breath. As you inhale, feel that quiet determination. As you exhale, let it soften into calm wherever you feel stuck. Chapter 57. Through blurred eyes and confused mind, Beck began to see shapes ahead, blue forms that might have been rocks, might have been dreams, or might have been tents. Hallucinations had already visited him, so he did not trust what he saw. Still, he moved closer, dragging his frozen limbs toward those patches of color. At last, a figure rose from behind one of them, human and real, not a phantom. Only then did Beck understand. He had made it back. People knew he was alive. He would not die alone on the vast, cold emptiness of the Col. As you inhale, remember times when help appeared at the last moment. As you exhale, let relief flow through you, like thawing snow. Chapter 58. Back at base camp, another kind of vigil was underway. Radios crackled with fragments of messages about missing climbers, about Rob still high on the south summit with Doug, about Andy, the guide who had gone up to help and not returned. Those below kept listening, hoping for good news, fearing the worst. When at last Rob's voice came again, it carried a weight that shook the hearts of those who heard it. He was still high, unable to move, stranded where the air is thin and rescue nearly impossible. "I'm stuck," he said. On the mountain, stuck can mean as far away as the moon. As you breathe in, hold these voices gently. As you breathe out, entrust all impossible distances to a kinder mystery. Chapter 59. Sherpas from below tried to climb toward Rob. heading up into fierce wind along the southeast ridge, carrying what hope they could in the form of ropes and hot tea. The storm still clawed at the slopes, and they had already spent their strength in days of guiding and carrying loads. They climbed until the mountain told them, firmly but without malice, that they could go no farther. About 100 meters below Rob, they had to turn back, leaving a small cache of tea in the snow, a tiny offering of care they knew he would likely never reach. As you inhale, think of all the journeys you could not finish for others. As you exhale, let yourself be at peace with the limits of your humanity. Chapter 60. Back at base camp, the task of speaking hard truth fell to Rob's close friend and climbing partner Guy. When word came that the Sherpas could not reach Rob, that the storm and exhaustion had drawn an unpassable line in the snow, someone had to tell him. Over the radio, with voice shaking, Guy explained that no rescue would come that day, that no one could safely climb to him in time. The words felt like stones in his mouth, heavy and unwanted. On the other end, high on the south summit, Rob listened in the thin air, alone with the sky. As you breathe in, feel the ache of saying what you wish were not true. As you breathe out, let that ache be held in kindness. As you rest here, let your own heart stand still for a moment, like a solitary figure on a quiet ridge at dusk. There may be places in your life where help could not arrive, where those you loved could not come as far as your pain, where the storm was simply too strong. Tonight, you do not need to argue with that past or rewrite it in your mind. Instead, imagine laying those memories down in the snow, not abandoned, but entrusted, placed gently into hands greater than yours, into a sky that can carry more than you could ever hold. Feel your breath moving like a slow prayer, in and out, in and out. Let your shoulders soften, your jaw unclench, your forehead smooth. You are not the rescuer of every story. You are not required to save every climber on every slope of your life. It is enough tonight that you are here, breathing, listening, allowing tenderness to seep into old, frozen places within you. Think of your bed as a high, safe camp built just for your soul, a place where you can finally stop fighting the wind and simply rest, sheltered under a great, unseen mercy. Chapter 61. As evening deepened on the mountain, Base Camp prepared one last gift for Rob, a call from home. Using the satellite phone, they patched his wife, Jan, through to the radio. Before speaking to her, Rob asked for a moment to put snow in his mouth, to moisten his lips so he could sound more like himself, more strong, more reassuring. It was such a human thing to do, even on the edge of death, to try to comfort the one who loved him. No one present wanted to admit, even silently, that this might be their last conversation. As you breathe in, remember the voices that have comforted you. As you breathe out, send a silent blessing to those you never got to properly say goodbye to. Chapter 62. At Camp 4, the second night's wind clawed at the tents even more fiercely than the first. Guy held the radio close as Rob spoke with Jan. Their voices carried over thousands of miles and a gulf of air and ice. When the call ended, Guy wept, his hands shaking as he lowered the microphone. It was both agony and grace to be the one who joined their voices, to witness love reaching across an uncrossable distance. Outside, the storm kept roaring, but inside that small tent, there was a tenderness that no wind could tear away. As you inhale, feel that tenderness settle over your own memories of parting. As you exhale, imagine every goodbye held gently in a larger, timeless love. Chapter 63. Meanwhile, Beck lay in another tent nearby, his body a map of frostbite and deep cold. At one point in the night, he woke to find himself alone, unbearably thirsty. He called out until a Sherpa appeared at the door with hot tea, yet the Sherpa hesitated to come inside, sensing in Beck an unsettling closeness to death. They stared at each other across the tent's threshold, the living, the nearly dead, divided by fear and mystery. Eventually, the Sherpa backed away into the storm, leaving Beck once more alone. There was no anger in Beck, only a strange, quiet understanding. As you breathe in, recognize the times when others could not step into your darkness. As you breathe out, let go of blame and let understanding take its place, soft as falling snow. Chapter 64. On the morning of the 12th, they tried again and again to raise Rob on the radio. Base Camp listened. Camp 4 listened, their ears tuned to every crackle of static. The sky above was a brilliant, indifferent blue, as if the storm had never existed. But the radio remained quiet. No familiar voice, no wry humor, no calm instruction drifted down from the south summit. At last, they had to accept what their hearts already knew. The night, the cold, and the altitude had taken him. He was gone, held now in the great silence he had loved. As you breathe in, honor those whose voices you no longer hear. As you breathe out, let a quiet, tender acceptance begin to form. And Chapter 65. In Camp 4, another decision was forming. They could not live on that height forever. Strength, oxygen, and food were all dwindling. Mike unzipped the tent door and told the survivors, "We're leaving in about half an hour. Get what you need. Be ready." He walked among the tents, calling out, checking on those still able to move. Passing one tent, he noticed its front door and back door both open, a pair of boots jutting outward, a sleeping bag draped over a still form. He assumed it was a body, another soul the mountain had kept. He did not lift the bag to look, choosing not to add that image to the weight he already carried. He did not know it was Beck. As you inhale, feel compassion for what we cannot face. As you exhale, release the need to see every hard thing clearly. Chapter 66. Time blurred for Beck inside that tent. He drifted in and out of a strange warmth that came not from temperature, but from separation from pain. Dead flesh does not hurt, and much of him was now beyond feeling. At first, he thought he was lying in his own bed, safe at home. Only when his eyes opened enough to see the ice crusted just inches from his face did he remember where he was. Realizing he had been left again, not from malice but from the cruel arithmetic of survival, he called out into the empty air. His voice was ragged, yet it still reached human ears. As you breathe in, recall times when your faint cry was somehow heard. As you breathe out, allow yourself to believe that you have never been completely abandoned. Chapter 67. A climber leaving Camp 4 to descend heard the faint calls and traced them back to the open tent. There, unbelievably, was Beck, moving, speaking, somehow alive. Word traveled down the mountain like a small, astonished river. The man they had reported dead had returned from the edge twice. Arrangements were made, plans shifted, hearts stirred. Later, on the Lhotse face, Mike descended and met David, who offered him water and told him the news. Beck's alive. Shock passed through him like a jolt. Looking across the slope, he saw two figures helping a third in a familiar suit slowly down. The impossible had become true. As you inhale, feel hope awakening in places you assumed were finished. As you exhale, let that hope sit gently, like a candle that needs no wind. Chapter 68. The descent was still long down the steep face, along the fixed lines, then all the way through the shifting labyrinth of the icefall. For days people had been dying around Beck, yet he had felt almost nothing, his emotions frozen like his hands. It was only near the bottom of the icefall, when he saw figures from base camp coming to meet them, that something inside began to thaw. He sat down on the ice and wept, not quietly, but with the deep, shaking sobs of a soul that has carried too much for too long. He cried for those who were gone, for what he had lost, and for the simple miracle of still being alive. As you breathe in, allow your own guarded places to soften. As you breathe out, imagine tears yours or another's watering dry ground within. Chapter 69. When the survivors finally walked into the mess tent at base camp, the shock was not only in what they had endured, but in what was missing. Seats that had once held laughing climbers now sat empty, their absence louder than any storm. Faces turned toward the door, searching for friends who would never step through it again. Leaving the mountain after that was its own heartbreak. Some could not stop turning to look back as they descended the valley, knowing that Rob, Andy, Doug, Yasuko, Scott, and others now lay forever in that high, white world. The mountain they loved had become a vast, silent cemetery of ice and stone. As you inhale, remember the places you've had to leave without everyone you loved beside you. As you exhale, let a blessing flow backward in time toward them, like a soft wind rising from the valley. As you rest here, let this story begin to quiet inside you, like a storm that has spent its fury and now drifts away over distant ridges. Grief and wonder, loss and survival, they all belong to the same human landscape, the same high, mysterious country of the heart. You have known your own avalanches, your own sudden calms. Tonight, you are not asked to solve their meaning. Instead, imagine placing each name, each memory, each unfinished goodbye into a small cairn of stones at the foot of a great, compassionate mountain. With every breath in, feel that mountain hold your burdens without strain. With every breath out, feel your body grow heavier, safer, more at ease, as if you are finally descending into a valley filled with peace. Chapter 70. In the lower valleys, far from the sharp air of the South Col, stones began to gather in quiet rows, memorials to those who did not return. On the trail below Everest, simple plaques and carved names lined the path, each one a still, uncomplaining story. Prayer flags fluttered above them in thin, bright lines, their frayed edges whispering mantras into the wind. Every passerby walked between these silent witnesses, reminded that the way to the mountain's heights is also a way through human fragility. As you breathe in, picture those prayer flags moving gently. As you breathe out, let your own fears of failure and ending be lifted, carried softly away on an invisible breeze. Chapter 71. For those who survived, the hardest climbs were not always on ice and rock, but in the days and years that followed, they carried images within them. A friend's last wave on a ridge, a voice cut off by static, a pair of boots sticking out from under a sleeping bag. Some nights, the storm returned in dreams, the roar, the white, the feeling of being lost just steps from safety. Yet alongside the pain, there was a deepened tenderness for life, for a shared meal, for a child's laughter, for the simple miracle of warm air in ordinary lungs. As you inhale, Honor the scars you carry. As you exhale, feel how they have quietly widened your capacity for compassion. Chapter 72. The storyteller who had led the film team returned again and again to Everest over the years. The mountain that had given him 5 summits had also taken friends he loved. Each visit to base camp became not only a professional task, but a pilgrimage to memory. Standing amidst the moraines and the shifting ice, he would look up at the familiar pyramid of the peak and feel both gratitude and sorrow rise together, like 2 currents in the same river. He knew now, more than ever, that Everest did not owe anyone a safe return. As you breathe in, accept that life owes none of us guarantees. As you breathe out, cherish the unbelievable gift of simply being here tonight. Chapter 73. For as long as people are drawn to Everest, that line of memorials will continue to grow. The mountain does not compete with us, does not demand our coming or our leaving. It stands, vast and untroubled, while we bring to it our hopes, our ambitions, our griefs, and our need to be transformed. Everything it means is what it reveals about us. Our courage, our frailty, our capacity for sacrifice and love. In this way, the mountain becomes a mirror more than a prize, a temple more than a trophy. As you inhale, imagine standing before such a mirror, seeing not your flaws, but your enduring spirit. As you exhale, let that gentle vision relax your heart. As you lie here now, let these high, cold images dissolve into something soft and close. The snowfields fade, the wind quiets, the tents of Camp 4 become simple house roofs under a calm night sky. You are not on the ridge, you are in your bed. You are not navigating a whiteout, you are floating in darkness that is kind, like a warm ocean for the mind. Feel your breath again steady, slow, like footsteps on an easy downward trail. With every inhale, imagine drawing in clear, cool air from a safe valley. With every exhale, picture the burdens of the day drifting off your shoulders and tumbling harmlessly down some distant slope. You do not need to hold up the mountain of your life all at once. You do not need to keep watch alone in the storm. Others have stood in the wind. Others have built small shelters of love around you, whether you saw them or not. Tonight, you are allowed to be the one who rests while the story keeps watch. Let the memory of those climbers, their courage and their tenderness, be like guardian lights on distant ridges, shining faintly but faithfully while you sleep. If your thoughts wander back to old storms, things you lost, things you wish you had done differently, just notice them, and then invite them to sit quietly by the campfire of your heart, where no wind can reach. You do not need to chase them away. You only need to breathe, and let the warmth of this moment seep slowly into every cold, forgotten corner inside you. Chapter 74. In the years that followed, some of the climbers learned to speak of that season like a winter lodged in the heart. At first, words came out jagged, like broken ice. Later, they softened into stories shared around tables, by lamplight, in quiet interviews where the eyes said as much as the mouths. They spoke of mistakes and miracles, of fear and unlooked-for courage, of the way a simple human touch in a storm could feel like the hand of heaven. Over time, telling became a form of healing, a way to place each memory gently where it could rest. As you breathe in, feel your own stories soften. As you breathe out, let them settle where they no longer hurt so sharply. Chapter 75. Others chose silence, not because they did not care, but because the mountain still echoed too loudly inside them. For them, Healing came in smaller, quieter ways. The sound of rain on a roof, the warmth of a hand held without words, the simple act of walking through a forest at sea level and feeling, for once, no hurry. The storms within gradually lost their teeth, becoming weathered clouds on a distant horizon rather than constant tempests overhead. They learned that you can live a whole life in the valley and still be brave, still carry the summit's wisdom in your chest. As you inhale, receive that truth. As you exhale, let go of the pressure to constantly stand on high, exposed places. Chapter 76. The mountain itself remained unchanged. Each winter, snow drifted into its gullies. Each spring, new teams arrived with bright gear and bright hopes. Avalanches roared down unseen faces. Glaciers creaked and shifted. Stars wheeled slowly over the summit just as they had for ages. Everest held no grudges, kept no ledger of who had stood upon it and who had fallen. It simply rose, year after year, an immense stillness framed by moving skies. To stand beneath such a presence is to realize how brief our days are and how precious. As you breathe in, imagine that timeless peak watching over you. As you breathe out, feel your worries shrink to their proper size, small and manageable in the face of eternity. Chapter 77. In quiet moments, the storyteller would think of character the way people behave when they believe no one is watching. On that mountain, in that storm, each heart had been revealed in its own way. Some had given from their last strength, some had frozen in fear, some had made choices they would question for years. Yet beneath all of it pulsed the same fragile, holy humanity, trying to survive, to love, to keep promises in impossible conditions. He knew then that heroism is rarely pure, and failure is rarely simple. As you inhale, offer kindness to the person you were in your own storms. As you exhale, let the light of understanding fall gently over your past, like first snow covering sharp rock. Chapter 78. Sometimes he would return in his mind to that long line of memorial stones, the way each name marked not just an ending, but a life full of mornings and meals, laughter and tears, far from the mountain. He imagined the parents, partners, children, and friends who had waited, by telephones and radios, who had looked up at clear night skies and wondered where their climber was among the stars. In those faces, unseen yet deeply real, he found the true measure of the story, not in the summit photos, but in the love that kept reaching upward long after the expeditions ended. As you breathe in, remember those who have loved you through your hardest climbs. As you breathe out, let gratitude move through you like a gentle breeze through prayer flags. Chapter 79. The lesson he carried away was not that people should avoid mountains, or ambitions, or risk. It was subtler and softer, that whatever summits we chase, we must remember the souls who travel with us and the ones waiting in the valleys below. Courage is not only the step into danger, but the step back toward those who need us alive. The mountain had taught him that success without compassion is a thin, lonely victory, and that turning around in time can be as sacred as standing on top. As you inhale, reflect on the goals you hold. As you exhale, let them be wrapped in gentleness for yourself and for everyone walking beside you. Chapter 80. In this way, Everest became for him a great, silent teacher of humility. It showed him that human plans are as delicate as snowflakes, that weather can change a future in minutes, that the line between strong and weak is thinner than a boot print in wind-blown powder. It showed him that even in terror and loss, people are capable of astonishing kindness, of sharing oxygen, of turning back with a friend, of walking into a storm to shine a headlamp for someone else. The mountain did not speak these lessons aloud. It simply stood there, while hearts slowly understood. As you breathe in, feel that humility soften you. As you breathe out, let go of the harsh demand to always be in control. As this night deepens around you, let the mountain's lessons drift down from those high, icy ridges into the warm valley of your own life. You, too, have faced storms, perhaps not of snow and wind, but of deadlines, grief, uncertainty, and change. You too have walked in whiteouts of confusion, unable to see more than a step ahead, and yet, somehow, you are here. You have descended through every previous night. You have survived one more season than you once feared you might. Feel the bed beneath you as your own safe base camp, the blankets like a soft sleeping bag drawn up around your shoulders. Outside, the world may still be complex and noisy, but it cannot reach the quiet center being formed in you now. Your breath is your tether, your fixed rope leading you gently back home to yourself each time the mind wanders. If old regrets appear moments when you wish you had turned back sooner, or gone a little farther, or spoken or stayed silent, see them as distant figures on a snowy ridge. You can acknowledge them without going back into the storm. Offer them a small bow of understanding, then let them fade into their own whiteness. You have climbed enough for today. You have worried enough for today. Now, the only task left is to rest, held between earth and sky, between heartbeat and breath, in a mercy as vast and quiet as any Himalayan night. Chapter 81. He came to see that mountains are not only made of rock and ice, but of choices layered over time. The choice to rope up with another, to share oxygen, to heed a turnaround time, to call home when you might be dying, to crawl when lying still would be easier. These decisions, large and small, shape the ridges of a life as surely as glaciers carve valleys. The 1996 storm left deep scars, but also deep wisdom that love, humility, and courage can coexist with fear and imperfection. As you breathe in, think of the quiet choices that have shaped you. As you breathe out, let yourself feel grateful for the wisdom carved from your own storms. Chapter 82. When he thought of Beck, he did not only picture frostbite and loss, but the moment of standing again, at sea level, seeing his family's faces clearly for the first time after the storm. There was no summit photo that could compare to that reunion, no view as vast as the joy of simply coming home. The cost had been terrible, yet out of it came a sharpened sense of what truly mattered. Touch, presence, shared time. The high peaks, once so consuming, now glowed in his memory beside the greater height of love. As you inhale, remember that the true summits of life are often found in living rooms and kitchens. As you exhale, let that truth soften any restless striving in you. Chapter 83. He realized too that not all who survived did so in body. Some lived on in stories, in changed lives, in the way those who returned cared differently afterwards. The courage of Sherpas who turned back only when they had given everything, the steady loyalty of guides who stayed with clients at great risk, the resilience of families who carried on with empty chairs at their tables. These too were in forms of survival. The storm had not only taken, it had also revealed a quiet army of tenderness hidden in human hearts. As you breathe in, consider how your struggles have made you more tender. As you breathe out, wish gentle strength for every soul, still walking through their own high winds. Chapter 84. In time, he came to see Everest as a parable of the whole human journey. We are all, in our own ways, climbing through thin air, carrying dreams and wounds, promises and fears. We ascend, we falter, we make mistakes, we help each other, we lose some we love along the way. Some storms we see coming, others rise suddenly from clear horizons. Yet through it all, there is a quiet, faithful presence. Call it grace, call it love, call it the great mountain spirit that watches over our stumbling steps, holding us even when we feel most lost. As you inhale, feel that presence near you. As you exhale, allow yourself to lean into it, like a weary climber resting against a solid rock. Chapter 85. In the quiet after the storm, he sometimes imagined all those who had been on the mountain that week, gathered together in a single, peaceful camp. No wind, no whiteout, no rush for the summit, only a circle of tents under a brilliant, star-filled sky. He pictured Rob laughing with his friends, Scott swapping stories with Sherpas, Yasuko tracing maps of all the peaks she had climbed, Doug smiling shyly at the summit he so longed for. In that imagined camp, no one was lost, and no one was left behind. It was not reality, but a gentle place his heart could visit. As you breathe in, let such a place form for you. As you breathe out, feel everyone you've ever loved quietly gathered in its glow. Chapter 86. He began to understand that the true memorial to those who died was not just stone or ice, but the way the living chose to walk afterwards. Some would climb more cautiously, holding life more tenderly. Some would listen more closely when others said, "I'm tired. I'm scared, I can't see." Some would pour their grief into helping others, teaching, guiding, telling the story so that future climbers might walk a little wiser. In this way, the ones who stayed on the mountain continued speaking through changed hearts below. As you inhale, think of those who have changed your path without ever stepping onto it again. As you exhale, let your own life be a quiet, ongoing tribute to their love. Chapter 87. So when people asked him, "What does Everest mean?" he no longer answered with numbers, heights, or records. Instead, he spoke of small things: a hand held in a storm, a voice that called through static just to say "I love you," a climber who turned back in time, a guide who gave up the summit to walk someone else down. He spoke of the way the mountain revealed what was already inside: people, their generosity, their fear, their stubborn hope. The mountain doesn't care whether we are there, he would say, but what it shows to us about ourselves, that is what matters. As you breathe in, let that truth sink in gently. As you breathe out, release the urge to measure your worth by peaks or achievements. Chapter 88. Tonight, as you lie here listening, you have also been walking among these high, cold memories. You have stood at base camp in your imagination, crossed the icefall in your thoughts, watched storms sweep across the South Col in the theater of your own mind. You have felt fear, tenderness, awe, and perhaps a deep, aching gratitude simply to be alive, here, in this quiet moment. You are not less courageous because your climbs are different. The mountains you face in your work, your relationships, your inner life are no less real than those of ice and stone. As you inhale, honor the summits you have already reached. As you exhale, know that it is holy too to stop, to rest, and to simply be. And now, gently, we begin our final descent into sleep. You have walked far tonight, high above the Fant world, in a landscape of snow and spirit. You have watched people struggle and survive, lose and love, hold on and let go. And through it all, a quiet thread has been winding through the story, like a rope tying you to something greater than fear or failure, a thread of grace, of mercy, of deep, enduring peace. Feel your body now, heavier than before, sinking into the mattress the way a tired climber sinks into a sleeping bag at the end of a long, long day. Your shoulders can drop a little more, your jaw can soften, the small muscles around your eyes can unclench and release. There is no more storm to brace against. There is no more ridge to cross. You have nothing to prove to this night, nothing to fix, nothing to climb. If this journey has brought even a small calm to your spirit, you might remember it later, perhaps by liking this video, or subscribing, or sharing which survival story your heart longs to drift through next. Somewhere, another tired soul is looking for a quiet path to sleep, and your small action might help them find their way here. And when you are ready to continue, another story waits a new trail along the ridges of endurance and hope, shining softly on your screen like a distant campfire in the dark. But not yet. Not now. Now, the Himalayas can fade to a soft blue silhouette at the edge of your awareness. The wind can fall absolutely still. The stars can hang motionless above a world that no longer needs your effort to turn. You are wrapped in blankets like clouds. You are sheltered in a valley of stillness that no storm can touch. Every breath carries you a little deeper into warmth, into safety, into rest. May peace guard your dreams until morning. May grace be the first light to greet you when you wake. May every summit you seek be approached not with fear, but with reverence and love. And for now, brave heart, gentle traveler of high places and quiet nights, good night.